For the best high school football games in the Triad every Friday.
Can't touch this.
Live sports talk on everything from ACC to Bowman Gray.
Can't touch this.
The most extensive Carolina Panthers coverage in the Triad.
Can't touch this.
Plus your exclusive home for Charlotte Hornets in the Triad.
Break it down.
Add in your Triad home for North Carolina A&T athletics, and you've got Tobacco Road Sports Radio, your home for Triad sports.
Hey family, this is Sabrina Wingo from Taste of the Triad, right here in Winston-Salem. When you walk through our doors, you're stepping into a place where Southern hospitality meets the best soul food in the Triad. We serve up a wide variety of options every single day in our cafeteria-style setting, from crispy fried chicken, incredible ribs, tender collard greens, to creamy mac and cheese, fresh vegetables, homemade desserts, and sweet cornbread just like Grandma used to make. Whether you're craving classic comfort food or exploring our daily specials, there is always something to make your taste buds dance. And now you can enjoy the taste of the Triad from the comfort of your home. We're on DoorDash. This means our hot home-style meals are just a few taps away. So come see us in person or order online and find out why we're called the best soul food in the Triad. Taste of the Triad, where you can have Sunday dinner anytime. Our address is 4320 Old Walkertown Road in Winston-Salem.
You are listening to North Carolina A&T football on TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com.
All right, now we're here at the Blue and Gold Postgame Show on the Aggie Sports Network. Thank you to those watching us on Tobacco Road, the Facebook and YouTube pages of Tobacco Road Sports Radio, as well as those watching on the North Carolina A&T Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages. Glad you've joined us. We've already got some responses in the chat, Al, and I mean it was a heartbreaking loss,
right?
But it feels different, Al, than the last couple of years.
It feels so much different. You're right. It was a very tough loss for A&T, but on the other side of the coin, you got to give Tennessee State credit. That first half, we held them to a minus 4 yards rushing. And, of course, that second half, Kendrick
It rhymes.
Yeah.
Rhymes.
Kendrick Rhymes broke free from those 2 long runs, and that was the difference in the ball game. But on the positive side, well, I think we may have found a quarterback today in Braxton Thomas, who really played well and made some big plays. And, of course, we were just a field goal away from going into overtime. But you're right about one thing, Donal, it does feel different. You know, even though we lost, there's a different attitude. There's a different feeling. I mean, there's a sense of optimism in terms of what's going to come. And so you never want to lose. There's no such thing as moral victories. But I think we saw some things today that Aggie fans can hang their head on as we go through the rest of this football season.
All right, so I want to address. Let's really address the first thing, the elephant sort of in the room. Daryl, who has hit us up the last couple of years. And we appreciate you, Daryl. He's not saying one way or the other. His comment is clock management on the last drive. He's not saying positive. He's saying, he's making a statement. This is, and I want you to comment on this, Al. This is where I sit. They did let some time run off the clock, probably a little bit too much. But I think, and you know, we can argue, well, should they have played for the field goal or should they have gone for the touchdown? I think they were playing for the field goal, which I didn't really – because you don't want to put – I mean, Braxton Thomas was really good. Do you want to put him in a situation where you try to – he's had some good throws, but he's a freshman guy. You've taken some sacks today. You don't want him to make a mistake. So I didn't really have a problem with that. per se.
And another thing is that in college ball now, the quarterback can wear a headset.
Okay.
And so a lot of times he was signaling that he could not hear the play coming in from the sideline. They were trying to get the play in, but for whatever reason, he couldn't get it in his headset. And you notice he looked to the side a couple of times and made a motion that I can't get the play.
Right.
And so that may have had something to do with the time running out. But good point, and I'm sure that's something that the Aggie coaching staff will look at and make the necessary adjustments.
Mark says, great game, good fight till the end. And Stevens says, what positives can we take from this game? What would you say were our strongest units? Sounds like D-line. Well, we actually saw Kendrick Rhymes get a 60-yard touchdown run and a 50. It was some good and some bad with the defensive line, because you're right, they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but in the running game, Kendrick Rhymes got loose.
And we've seen this before with A&T with what we might call an undersized defensive line. They rely on quickness. Well, when Tennessee State changed their game plan and started to run right at us using their size to their advantage, and of course this allowed Rhymes to break free. They got a couple of hits on our linebackers, and it was wide open. And that was the difference in the game, those two big runs by Rhymes. And but other than that, the defensive line made some stops when they had to. And so it's something that I think we can build on and take it as a positive as we go into the season, along with the play of Braxton Thomas.
Stephanie says, didn't get the win, but we are definitely looking much better. Keep it up, Aggie. She's got the blue and gold hearts. Ice Cold says, to me, the play calling was a little too conservative at the very end. Again, there were some good plays. I mean, Braxton Thomas, he was 11 of 13 for 169 yards. He had one touchdown, no interceptions. I think he made some really good plays. Look, at the end, it seemed like they were playing for the field goal. Maybe you don't want to put the freshman quarterback in that type of scenario. At the end of the day, but 38 yards for Brown, that's what you want. Tennessee State made a great play. All right, so let's see. What else do we have here? Let's see, W. Anthony Lawson says, I'm encouraged. First game, it is a much better start. Jonathan says, proud of how we fought out there. Let's see, Mike says, we look promising today, and our players looked more energetic, but we gave up 2 touchdown runs. Go Aggies, he's right. Now, look, let me tell you now, if you haven't seen Kendrick Rhymes play, the kid can play. Swann played at Southern, followed him. He's a good player, but you're absolutely right. The Aggies got gashed up front, but they were still at times able to put pressure on the quarterback.
You got to give Tennessee State credit, Donal. They changed their offensive philosophy in that second half. Halftime, we held them to a -4 yards in the first half. Second half, they began to use that big size advantage up front just by running just straight power plays. And of course, once Rhymes broke the line of scrimmage and we didn't get the support from the secondary, those 2 big touchdown runs, that's the difference in the ball game.
Timothy says, too many turnovers and penalties today. I have no issue going for the field goal, but we need to work on the management. And yeah, the penalties hurt they came at the wrong time. You never want a penalty, but some of them came at the wrong time. But the turnovers, it's hard to overcome. 3 turnovers. Yep. It's hard to overcome that and win a football game.
There's no doubt about it. And of course, once Braxton Thomas got in the game, we saw the turnover situation change. But I think there's a lot of positive that you can take away from this game. Again, you want to win as many games as you possibly can, but we were within a field goal of going into overtime, and you got to give Tennessee State credit. They made the plays when they had to, with the 2 long runs and the blocked field goal. So you got to give them credit for that.
Yep. Steve Gunny says, welcome back, fellas. Even with a loss, it feels like we have the right pieces just to feel like we have a chance. Alone is a turnaround, Aggie pride. Yeah. And, I mean, look, team took the lead 7-0. Tennessee State came right back. A&T was able to eventually regain a lead, and then Tennessee State had 14 unanswered points. A&T came right back to score that touchdown, and then a couple of stops defensively. We talk about the defense getting gashed. Yes, but let's talk about the couple of stops that the defense needed to make to put the field goal situation in position.
Give the ball back to A&T offense to put them in a position to actually score or kick a field goal to tie the game. So, yeah, you got to give them credit for that. They gave up those 2 big long runs, but on the other side, conversely, when they needed to make some stops, they made the stop. So, it's a double-edged sword in this situation, but I still think that there was so much positive that we can take out of this game, even though we lost, and it's the first game of the year, first game of the Sean Gibbs era, and I think there's a lot for Aggie fans everywhere to be excited about.
Daryl, again, look, Daryl's, he's always with us. He joins every post-game show, says, honestly, we beat ourselves. This game was there for us to win. It wasn't completely out of reach, which is true. Ethel says, kind of echoes Daryl a little bit. We beat ourselves. Turnovers, and 1 turnover cost us 3 points on a field goal. Now, Diana says you need a quarterback. Now, I'm going to look. I'm going to look at these numbers now. Champ Long didn't have it wasn't a great debut.
Day. No.
Okay, he was 5 of 9 for 41 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he had 3 turnovers and 4 fumbles. Actually, Braxton Thomas was 11 of 13, 169 yards, 1 touchdown with no interception. Braxton Thomas played a pretty good football game today.
I thought Braxton Thomas played a really good football game today, Donal. We mentioned that touchdown pass he threw. He got pressure. He got outside the pressure. They were still chasing him. He had the presence of mind to keep his focus down the field, found the receiver, threw it to him for that big touchdown. And so in terms of quarterback play, I thought Braxton Thomas really did well today. I thought he did an outstanding job. Redshirt freshman, only saw action in about 4 games last year. And so in terms of how he played today, I thought he really took some big steps in terms of establishing himself as the Aggie quarterback.
And we can talk about the runs, and Aggie Nation is right in terms of the big plays. But let's look at this. For me, when it comes to pro football, I'm never really about the stats. You got to be more about the stats. I think so in college. Check this stat out. Kendrick Rhymes, 21 carries, 174 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, okay? You can't argue that.
Right.
But as a team, Tennessee State rushed for only 129 yards.
That's what we're saying, yeah.
A&T, for the most part, you gave up a couple of big runs, but made some good plays as well.
They definitely did because, again, reiterating the point that at halftime, Tennessee State was a -4 yards rushing, a -4. And, of course, you take away those 2 big runs by Rhymes, which you can't do, and it was just a breakdown. Because once he got past the line of scrimmage, we didn't have the secondary support. And, of course, he had a wide open field. And with his speed, we weren't going to catch him. But as you mentioned earlier, Rhymes is a good running back. This guy's not chopped liver, man. And we kept him in bay that first half. But the second half, I think when Tennessee State changed their philosophy and just started to use that size advantage up front, they were able to break him loose for a couple of times. And there goes your ball game. That's the difference in the ball game.
Pamela says they should have gone for the win instead of going for overtime. This is Johanna says, positive note, Braxton Thomas has excellent touch. He's young, so let him get comfortable, and he will do well. And he definitely did well today. John says we got a tough schedule from here, so I really don't know. Janelle, good to see you again and hear from you again, Janelle, who has joined us the last couple of years, as a matter of fact, here on the Blue and Gold post-game show. She says, shaking my head, too many turnovers. You have to go for the win there. And she says, definitely a game that we should have won. Stoney says, promising performance. And Janelle says number 17 is the quarterback, Braxton Thomas. Look, you look at the numbers, and we'll see. Next week is UCF. And that's going to be a tall task.
Yeah, because we go to Orlando next week, and UCF is a member of the Big 12. That's a big-time conference. And so it's going to be a major challenge for us to go to Orlando next week. But just looking at today's game, of course, the game could have gone either way. And the two big plays by the Tigers, that's the difference in the ball game. But I thought Braxton Thomas really played well, and I think he showed enough that we can see that we can build upon that as the season progresses.
You're talking about Tennessee State throwing the football. Jonathan Palmer was 11 of 21, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Tennessee State only racked up in this day and age of college football, where if you hold a team to like 320 yards of total offense, you've done something.
Yeah, you've done
Tennessee State only had 252 yards of total offense.
Yeah, like in terms of the stats, we won the battle of the stats everywhere except the score. I mean, in terms of total yards, we had 343 total yards to 252 for Tennessee State. And looking at passing, we had 210 yards net passing. You remember last year, heck, man, for the first 5-6 ball games, we couldn't get 100 yards passing last year. So, I mean, there's big improvement in that area. Tough loss, but I still think there's a lot of positives that we can take away from this game.
Wesley Graves, 14 carries, 69 yards. He had the touchdown, that big 40-yard touchdown run. He averaged 4.9 yards per carry. Jalen Hicks, 4 carries, 27 yards, averaged 6.8 yards per carry. So when you look at A&T from a run-pass perspective, it was balanced. 133 yards rushing, 210 yards passing for a total of 343 yards of total offense. Yes, it didn't reflect on the scoreboard in terms of the W, but as we mentioned, and as a lot of Aggies are saying here, it felt different. It just felt different, and even the responses from Aggie Nation are different than they were last year.
That's one of the big takeaways that I take from this game, Donal, is the attitude and the culture. I thought it was totally different than what we've seen in the last couple of years, and of course, that's what we expect with Sean Gibbs as coach. And I think that's something that we can continue to build on. Again, there's no such thing as moral victories, but boy, I tell you, the Aggies played one heck of a game today.
They did. Yeah, Braxton, Janelle, echo Janelle saying that Braxton made some nice plays, including that touchdown pass. Timothy said, "Let's see how our D stacks up next week." And let's see. Shawnee says they fought until the end. They showed team unity. A lot of positives in the loss. Just need to look at the game film and tweak a few things. Definitely, Janelle says we have a solid run game. Greg says he's at the stadium and this one hurt, and it did hurt. That, because again, you're looking at that field goal, you're like 38 yards. He's going to make that one, and we'll ask, of course, Coach Gibbs about it on Monday in terms of what he saw on the film and what led to the Tennessee State penetration, but they got their hand up and blocked the field goal.
Yeah, we mentioned the fact that field goal is you need some complementary help. You not only need a good snap, but you got to have the proper blocking up front. Give them credit. They were able to penetrate our offensive line, got their hands up, made the block, and, of course, that was the ball game. But I still think there were so many things that we can build on, because one of the things you look at is where we're coming from. And we know we've been in for the last few years, man. It's been tough. And in terms of attitude and total team atmosphere and culture, we saw a totally different A&T football team today. And I think that's something that will bode well as we get into the CAA season.
And Derek says we will be fine. They missed 3 missed assignments for 3 long touchdowns, which is true. But the other thing also, 3 turnovers. Yep. So you had 3. So that's six big plays, and you still only lost by
3. So we got a tough road. We got to go to Orlando next week and against a Big 12 team. And, of course, we know that the CAA, our league, is really tough. But we're going into it with a positive outlook, and I think we can hopefully get that first CAA win this year.
I'm telling you, it's a long time coming.
Yes.
And, our first CAA opponent is Hampton. 2 weeks from today, of course, UCF is the next opponent. We got to go to Orlando, Al, and that's you're talking about a Big 12 opponent, but not just because UCF is in the Big 12. UCF has had a really nice program the last, 6 to 8
They've
years.
had some big wins down there against some really tough opponents. But, one of the things that we look at, that's really tough today in college football is roster building. And I think that Coach Gibbs given some time, and he's going to really build a solid roster here at A&T that is going to make us competitive in that CAA.
Janelle says we can build from this, watch film, and get ready for the next game. Rick says our play calling seemed to be a bit stagnant and at times with no rhythm. Last thoughts on this, Al, before we wrap up the Blue and Gold postgame show.
Well, again, I think one of the things that we can take from this game is that I think that the A&T possibly found a quarterback, and we know that in today's game, boy, you need a quarterback that can make plays. And Braxton Thomas showed a lot of promise today. The defense really played well. I know they gave up those 2 big runs, but as you said, they also made some timely stops too. So, they sort of balance each other out. And tough road next week down in Orlando against Central Florida. Then we come back against Hampton. And one thing, hopefully we didn't come out with any major injuries today. I hope that big offensive lineman is going to be able to play. And that's a major thing that we go into next week. We got nobody with major injuries, and that's very, very important.
Yeah, Corian Sharp, he actually came back into the game, the right guard, the preseason HBCU All-American and also All-CAA performer came back into the game, so that was a positive sign. Look, we're in terms of the chat, we're going to give Ian the last word. He says, losing this one is tough. That said, we are not the same team. The future is bright. We just have to be patient.
I agree 100%. And I have a lot of confidence in Coach Gibbs. And I know that, he's going to do it the right way. And we saw an example of that today in terms of attitude, team camaraderie, and the entire cultural thing that is so important. And I think that's something that we're going to build on from here.
So we're going to get ready to wrap up the Blue and Gold post-game show here. Look, we appreciate you all sticking with us beyond this and tuning into the broadcast and sharing your thoughts. This is what this is about. This is about you all. We want to hear from you all in terms of your thoughts, but it definitely feels different. It looks different than it has the last couple of years. But now it's on to UCF to try to prepare for that football game. And so, of course, that game is going to be in Orlando. Al and I will be in Orlando, and we're coming on with the pregame show at 6:30 on the Aggie Sports Radio Network. And then, of course, we'll have the Blue and Gold postgame show right here on the A&T Athletics Facebook and YouTube pages, as well as Tobacco Road Sports Radio Facebook and YouTube pages. That's about going to wrap it up. Again, don't forget about the Coaches Show. We've got the Coaches Show on Monday, and that Coaches Show, I've got to get a clear understanding when that airs. I think it may start airing on Wednesdays on the A&T Athletic YouTube page, but we'll let you know about that. And for more information, as a matter of fact, on A&T Athletics, visit the website at ncathathletics.com. I want to thank Des back at the studios of the Aggie Sports Radio Network for all of his great work. For Al Swann, Donal Ware saying so long for now from Nissan Stadium here in Nashville. Your final score, Tennessee State 24 and North Carolina A&T 21. You've been listening to Aggie Football on the Aggie Sports Radio Network.